Hello, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. Today, we're going to talk about the benefits of taking more risks when you're young. I'm talking about in your early 20s, or maybe even when you're 18, 19, around that age, or even in your 20s, or later on in life as well. Later on in life, I've heard from many sources that it becomes a bit more difficult because usually we are have more responsibilities and such, right? Um, But I can tell you from experience and what I learned that taking risks when you have the ability to actually take risks, when you have the freedom to take risks, is one of the most, it's like the best thing you can do for your own personal growth. A lot of these people are talking about, how meditation is great, how working out is great, and I do too, right? Those things are great. It's good habits to have. But I think the biggest factor in, at least for my life when I was a bit younger. I'm soon 26, but when I was about 20 to 25, before I was married, before I had a son, the biggest like change for my life in a positive direction was taking more risks. All right, so this meant I moved to Rome, I moved to Barcelona, I moved to Poland, I met a whole lot of new people, right? I sort of I did my own thing. I went my own way, my own direction with my own business, right? I dared to do these things, and it just created a whole new perspective on life altogether, right? I think this is something a lot of young men are struggling with in today's society. They're sort of in their own shell, in their own little bubble, on social media all the time, on watching television all the time or playing video games. I'm not here to judge that or say like quit it. Although I do believe if you were to take more risks, getting out of your comfort zone, right? You would start to enjoy life more, and those other things, those addictions so to say, or those entertaining tools that are available everywhere, would be less entertaining because you're more entertained living life. All right. I had, when I was young, I guess I'm still kind of young, but I'm getting older, but one of my older brothers, he traveled a lot. All right. He lived in Singapore, he lived in Germany, he lived in Denmark, he lived in Canada even, right? With his work. And every time I visited him in these different places, he always seemed more alive than most people that I was meeting in the locations where I was, right? He always seemed more vitally alive. He seemed more adventurous. He seemed to just have that certain energy about himself that life is fun, life is adventurous, right? Like life is something is happening, something he's evolving, getting better at something, and doing it in a completely new country, right? And that triggers something in me. I think as we're growing up, we can sort of feel when someone is doing something the right way. And for me, he definitely showed me the right way. Although he wasn't perhaps always present because he was traveling and living in different countries all the time. That gave me, now when I'm older, the perspective on why that's so important. Like getting out of my comfort zone, leaving the country, going to another country. I've done that now, and I can tell you, it's the best thing ever. You know, it's the best thing. Going into new jobs, right? Like if you are young and if you don't have a lot of responsibilities, get out of your get out of the comfort zone. All right, you don't need a lot of money to do it, right? You're not supposed to be attached to this perhaps job that you don't even like. If you don't like the job, why not save up? Like you just need $2,000 or $3,000 if you literally want to move to another country. You don't need that much more. Let me tell you how. You rent a room for like $400 or $500 a month. You pay the deposit, which is usually 1 month. You move into the room, you pay the rent, and then you have 1,000 or 2,000 more to live on, right? And while you're there, you figure it out. You find a job. You figure it out as you go. You figure it out. I promise you. If you just put yourself in a situation like that where you literally have to make things happen, you're going to learn so much. You're going to figure it out. If you have a bigger budget to start with, that's great. That's great. Now, I've always had this issue in the past. Now I'm way more intelligent with money and my savings and everything. But I literally went to Spain, like after I paid the rent and everything. I think I had $300 or something, right? After I paid the first month rent and deposit, I think I had like $300 or something, and it turned out great. I lived there for almost 2 years. Ended up with a sea view apartment. Ended up with a wife and a kid, right? Which I love dearly. And the perspective on life just changed completely as well. Entire perspective on life, right? I'm telling you, if you take more calculated risks when you are young, it's literally a cheat code in life, because when you return, so to speak, or if you don't, you're just going to look at life differently. Like how people are acting and how people are behaving, a lot of it is due to fear. A lot of people are living their life out of fear. It's fear of judgment, it's fear of not surviving on their own, it's fear of, not believing in themselves. And when you take these risks and you overcome difficult situations, perhaps in a foreign country as well, you start feeling alive. All right? This sense of aliveness just makes everything possible. You become more creative in the moment as well. You're meeting new people. You become more social, right? And all of it is worth it. It's all worth it. I highly recommend taking more risks. I highly recommend it. Thank you all for watching. I hope this made sense. And taking risks, it can be in many areas of life, right? It can be approaching that woman on the street that you find attractive in a charming way, right? And setting up a date with her if she's interested. It can mean quitting the job and moving to a different country. What you have, just burning the boats and learning how to swim, metaphorically speaking. It can be starting that online business. It can be like, even with your health, it can be fasting. Taking no risks of feeling hunger, for instance. That's a very light risk because it's actually just beneficial. But put yourself through obstacles where you don't really feel comfortable, and that's where the magic happens. That's where life happens, right? Thank you for watching. Hit the like, also subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.